Here we are again, solving equations and inequalities, but now we're on quiz 1. There are a lot of little questions here, so I'm going to work through them pretty quick. The first one, we did something like this before it crops up. We're solving for y, and again, you need to get all the y values on one side, even if they're mixed in with numbers. So I'm going to add 4y to both sides. I'm going to get py plus qy plus 4y equals 8. And why did I do that? Well, now I have y on all these terms on the left-hand side, so I can factor out the p, the q, and the 4. How? Well, I'm going to bring y out here, and then I'm going to say if I were to divide everything by y, what would I have? I would have p plus q plus 4 left, and all of that's equal to 8, and I'm almost done. I'm solving for y, and what I need to do is just therefore divide both sides by p plus q by 4. Over there, p plus q plus 4. And then I'm done. Y equals 8 over p plus q plus 4. That's my answer. Looks pretty simple. Once you get the hang of it, it's not too bad. Number 2, 2 minus 1/2 n equals 3n plus 16. Solving for n, so I'm going to subtract 3n over here. I want to bring all the n's on one side. So this is going to be 2 minus 3.5 n, and that equals 16. I'm going to subtract 2 on both sides. I'm going to get minus 3.5 n equals 14. Sorry for the sound in the background. I'm actually going to convert this to minus 7 over 2n because it's hard to deal with a mixed fraction. And if you're wondering how I did that, I remember, if you remember this, but minus 3.5. I'm basically going 3 times 2 is 6 plus 1, so I'm getting minus 7 over 2. I'm going 3 times 2 is 6 plus 1, so 3 times 2 plus 1 is 7, and I'm keeping the bottom. Negative 7 over 2n equals 14. I'm going to multiply by negative 2 on both sides because I want to eliminate the denominator. So by doing that, I'm also eliminating the negative times the negative, making this positive. So the negative 2 and the negative 2 are going to cancel, and that's going to be 7n equal to negative 28. I'm almost done. I'm going to do it over here because I've kind of run out of space, but I'm going to divide by 7 on both sides, and I'm going to get n equals to negative 4. Okay, a few steps, a bit tricky. The fractions are always a little tricky. I admit it, it's true, but don't be afraid of them. Give it a shot. Go ahead and make sure you can practice. Over here, this kind of question is, they give you two situations or kind of steps, and how do we get equation B from equation A? How does this right here, how does equation B come from equation A? Well, what you're doing here is you're dividing 3. See that? On both sides. We can do that because this is like one term. 3 times x plus 2 is like 3x or anything else, or 3 times 2 even, or whatever. So what does that say down here? How do we get equation? We multiply or divide both sides. You can't multiply or divide only one side. So it's definitely not D. It's not that. It's not B. We're not adding and subtracting. It's definitely C. We're multiplying and dividing both sides by 3 in this case. Are the equations equivalent? Do they have the same solution? Well, yes, they do. If I were to go ahead and solve this, I'm going to get x equals to 4. And does that work? Yeah, if I put this back in here, if I were to substitute this back in, I would get 3 onto x plus 2 equals 18. I put 4 in there, I'm going to get 3 onto 4 plus 2. Is that equal to 18? I'm just checking it, right? This is 3 times 6. Is that equal to 18? Question mark. Yes, it's true, and those are both equivalent. So that really takes care of number 3. The answer is yes on both accounts. Yes and yes, they are equivalent, and they have the same solution. 2 more. This one's another fraction. Again, we've got k's on both sides. We want to have k on one side, not both sides. So I'm going to start by distributing it out, getting this negative 1/4 k to come out of there. 1/4 k equals negative 3/4 k. Now this is sort of one of those things where We'll have to make it more complicated before you make it more simple, if that makes any sense. And then we're going to add 3/4 k sides. And we're going to get 3/4 and 1/4 is 1k is equal to 9. And then that's it. We're done. So that worked out well. And then over here, this is pretty standard, just using decimals instead of fractions. We're going to get 10 times 0.4 is going to be 4, plus 10 times 0.5 is going to be 5g equals 4g. And then we're going to subtract 4g on both sides. Getting 4 plus 1g equals 0. We're going to subtract 4 on both sides. And 1g, or just g equals -4. And that's our answer. So that was relatively quick. Once you get the hang of it, I think we're just really making sure that you understand fractions and decimals and not bothered by them at all. So, okay, I hope it works well. I hope you're doing well, and let me know if you have any questions.